Is Clemson's offensive line really taking shape?
You are Locked On Clemson, your daily podcast on the Clemson Tigers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Clemson's quarterback battle gets all the attention, but the offensive line is probably going to decide a lot of 2026. And for the first time, maybe we are seeing the Tigers with a best five. What's up, everybody? Morgan Thomas here. Welcome to Locked On Clemson, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. On today's show, we're talking about that offensive line, and I know the quarterback gets all the headlines. Christopher Vizzina, Tate Reynolds, I could probably get 5,000 views right now if I did another video like that. Who starts? Who's pushing who? Who gives Clemson the best chance to beat LSU? All of that does matter for sure, but the quarterback only plays as well as the five guys in front of him allow him to play. And that's why Clemson's offensive line might be the biggest non-quarterback storyline this team has to offer. Clemson lost 4 starters up front. Blake Miller, not there. Tristan Lee, not there. Ryan Linthicum, not there. Walker Parks, not there. That's a lot of experience, a lot of snaps, and a lot of big dudes walking out the door. So Matt Luke's job this offseason and this camp has been not just to find 5 guys, but to find guys who will fit really well together in the right positions at the right time, right next to each other. After the first scrimmage, we may be hearing that some good signs were seen. Ronan O'Connell did some reps at right guard. Colin Sadler got some reps at right tackle, believe it or not. Harris Sewell, obviously, we know he's anchoring the middle. Braden Jacobs, Elijah Thurman, giving Clemson some left side stability. Now, those names may be some of the same names that you knew I would say, but we're talking about practical versions of this team that is going to put Clemson in the best possible position to beat LSU in Baton Rouge. Clemson doesn't need 5 five-star offensive linemen. They need guys who fit well with each other. So that's what they're looking for, and that's how we're going to get this show underway. Starting off with segment 1 with a little bit of surprise because the right side of the offensive line was the big question for us. But it might be coming into focus earlier than we thought. And with these pieces moving around, maybe we had a little bit of a surprise more than we thought. Obviously, Braden Jacobs going to be on left tackle. Elijah Thurman, we think, is going to be left guard. Those two you can believe in. On the left side, feels pretty stable there. Harris Sewell in the middle at the center position. So you got middle to the left side, no problem, right? After that, there's been a battle going on. Ronan O'Connell, Colin Sadler, Easton Ware, Tucker Caddis. Different combinations, different looks, lots of different possibilities. And when you have that much movement, it can mean 2 things. It means that, one, you have great competition, or it means that you still got a big question mark and you have no idea. Maybe Clemson's getting a little bit closer to answering that question. The only way to answer the question is to put them out there. Put them out there and say, hey, go make things happen. Show me what you got. Give them an opportunity. Whether or not they take advantage of it or not, you give it to them. You give them rotation. You give them different looks to see who fits what and who fits together. If Ronan O'Connell is at right guard and Colin Sadler is at right tackle, that's experience for me. That's the logical answer for me. If they can communicate well, hey, that's going to be your week 1 lineup right there. Jacobs, Thurman, Sewell, O'Connell, Sadler, right there. That's your 5. May not be like the flashiest combination of 5. And who knows how long that will go. But this is not a tune-up game to try combinations at. Clemson is opening at LSU, whether you have forgotten about that. And it's at night in an environment that's going to eat you alive. So in that situation, I want the group that can communicate, can handle movement from the defensive line, has experience to identify the pressure properly and quickly, and limit the chaos. There's going to be chaos. I'm not going to say you avoid chaos. I actually wrote down avoid chaos, but I'm not saying avoid chaos. I'm saying limit chaos. That's why maybe they like Colin Sadler at right tackle. He's flexible. He's played multiple positions. That's valuable. He's played real football. That's valuable. And he gives Clemson, to me, a pretty high floor because he's been there. Now, I don't think he's been at right tackle, that's for sure, but he's been there in real college football games. And the floor, starting with a high floor, matters because if you're at the right tackle spot and it's unstable, then a tackle spot being unstable can make the guy next to him unstable. Kind of trickles down. You look at O'Connell, he's probably a good choice at right guard right now because he's got the size, he's got some experience. He was in a bowl game. And so steady experience, not flashy, not experimental. Go ahead and get that out there. Keep that floor where you trust what you know, what you've seen. And if those guys can be steady alongside Sewell and the left side, well, then maybe Clemson has a right side that's no longer a problem. Maybe they have a right side that's actually something they can work with. Now, don't get me wrong. I still want Tucker Caddis in there. I still want Easton Ware in there. And I want them pushing those dudes hard because competition matters. As we know, when you don't have it, you get 2025 Clemson. I don't want this to become experience football or seniority only because that's that's what you got last year with Clemson. And that's bad. Or at least bad in that scenario. Caddis, been interesting throwing his name out there early on in fall camp. Not a name that I thought we'd be talking about. Ware, obviously, is a guy I thought we'd be talking about. He's got the talent. Both those guys need more reps, though. They need more development. And maybe they matter not week one. Maybe they matter further on down the road. I'd rather have the more experienced option against LSU, to be honest with you. Unless they're clearly winning their position, I'd rather have the more experience out there. The new guys would need to show that they can anchor against power, handle pressure live, and process everything extremely fast, and then do it consistently enough, routinely enough, that then you can trust them against a team like LSU in an environment like LSU. And that's a lot to ask for those guys. So if Clemson is set on O'Connell Sadler, I see that choosing stability. It's not flashy, but it chooses stability. And with a starting quarterback who's in a new system with a new tempo in a away game week one, that's okay with me. The item I'm watching, though, is does Matt Luke keep the right side the same way as we get into week one prep? Because it's not week one prep right now. So you have to stick with me. We'll have to look at this maybe a few weeks down the road. Because if he keeps it together, then that tells you a lot. 2 weeks from now, they're done experimenting. I don't think they're going to continue with that. Continuity is going to matter eventually, right? Especially on the offensive line. You can't keep changing out pieces over and over and expecting the same five guys or the new group of five guys to just figure it out. At some point, you need the best five up there lining right next to each other over and over and over and over and over. That's where we'll finally know the direction Clemson's heading. Right now, early signs are that. 3 weeks from now, that's where I really want to see if we're talking about the same group or not. Stick with me. Segment 2 of Locked On Clemson, we're going to talk about some more positive signs that we heard from the scrimmage on the offensive side of the ball and the offensive line right here on Locked On Clemson. Baseball fans, if you think you know who's hitting a homer today, FanDuel is giving you a free chance to call your shot with daily dingers. It's easy to play. Just make your free pick for who you think will hit a home run in their game. And if you're right, you'll receive a profit boost to use on your next bet for a chance at extra winnings. And best of all, you can make a free pick every day throughout the MLB season. Daily Dingers is another fun way to stay engaged with everyday's games, whether you're following your favorite team or keeping an eye on matchups across the league. Every game has someone capable of going deep. Now you get the chance to make your prediction before the first pitch. When I'm looking at today's games, the first thing I'm looking at is a player who has a chance to hit one out with a hot streak or a favorable matchup. Guys like Shohei Ohtani, who already have 26 bombs this year, or a hitter like Trent Grisham, who's been launching them lately. Those are the ones that jump out before I lock in on my free Daily Dingers pick. So are you ready to play your game today? Join all the action at FanDuel.com. That's FanDuel.com to play Daily Dingers and make your free pick on who's hitting a homer. Play ball and swing for the fences on FanDuel, official partner of the MLB. This episode is also brought to you by Poncho. Let me tell you about Poncho. If you're like me and you basically live in orange and white and game day gear during football season and outside football season, well, I want you to check out Poncho's new game day collection. It's one of those things where it's a performance shirt, but it doesn't look like a performance shirt. It looks clean, sharp, and like something that you'd actually want to wear all day. Plus, I wear it all day. And you get to rep the Clemson Tigers in a style that is fashionable. And the best part about it is built for real life. Lightweight, breathable, comfortable enough so you can throw it on when you're tailgating, when you're in the stadium, when you're hanging out with your friends. You feel like that you don't need to change because it's so versatile. And what I really like about it is you're not stuck with one size fits all situation like a lot of these brands. You can dial in the fit. You get regular, slim, tall, short sleeve, long sleeve. And if you grab your team shirt between August 2nd and August 16th, you're covered by Poncho's Natty Back Guarantee. If your team wins the College Football National Championship, Poncho will give you a full refund on your purchase. Plus, you keep the shirt. So the first time I threw on a Poncho with Clemson shirt, I didn't know much. I didn't know what to expect. But what immediately stood out to me is how breathable this shirt is. And look at it. You have the poncho, you have the tiger paw, you got the poncho on the side, you have where you can have a little a zipper where you can put your cell phone. I love it. I'm hoping that my flight school will have these shirts as well. So Poncho, hey, check it out. We need some better flight school shirts. I'm just saying. But if you're a Clemson fan and you want to go tailgate, this is the shirt for you. Go to Death Valley, sit in the stadium. This is the shirt for you. You know how South Carolina heat is. It's going to be hot. It's going to be sticky, but not in this bad boy. Go over to ponchooutdoors.com/lockedon and enter your email to get $10 off and free shipping on your first order. That's PONCHO outdoors.com/lockedon. Head there, drop your email, get $10 off and free shipping. Once you try one, you'll get why I have a closet full of them. Welcome back in. Quick reset here on Locked On Clemson. Thanks to all the everydayers for making us part of your everyday routine. If you haven't already, hit that like, subscribe, that notification bell so you never miss another episode of Locked On Clemson throughout the football season. Segment 2, most encouraging part of the scrimmage, not just one player for me. It was that the offense, from what we're told, is functioning. And that matters because, well, you need a functioning offense. You need to hear that the quarterbacks didn't make a bunch of mistakes. What did we hear with the past? What did I tell you? You remember I told you I was doing the Angels in the Outfield 2 years ago. I was hanging from a tree off of College Avenue and trying to look through the stadium, standing on top of a roof till they kicked me out. What did I see? I saw a lot of interceptions. Now, this time, I actually did circle the stadium in my airplane. Now, I couldn't see anything from like 4,000 feet up, but I at least tried. Okay. I mean, I had to give it a shot. But all jokes aside, from what we're hearing from our insiders is that the quarterbacks had a lot of good moments. The running backs had good moments, and the tight ends had good moments. Honestly, the offensive line had good moments. So those things are just a step in the right direction. Far too often, we've been seeing or remembering in the past from these camps where the offense is just getting whipped. If defenders are looking like, man, they're the next coming of the Power Rangers, well, then the offensive line really needs to we need to admit that the offensive line is not doing good. But you know what? The quarterbacks, from what I told, had opportunities to look comfortable. The running backs were in rhythm. The tight ends were, doing more than just surviving. So when Dabo says that his first group is doing really well and they're functioning, well, you know what? I like it because I didn't see it in the past. Now, I'm not saying everything's fixed. I want to be clear about that. A scrimmage in August doesn't mean much, but it's at least a data point that we can go by. Clemson needs data points that are in a positive direction. So this group obviously got one on their cap there. Are we still going to question them like we've questioned them all offseason? Yeah, and rightfully so. When you lose what you've lost, when you performed how you performed with that many draft picks, yeah, it's not easy to forget. So I'm not going to forget. I want to see it translate to Saturdays. I don't want to just kind of be sunshine pumping you here just because I heard it was good on the offense. Now, on the flip side, we could say the offense was great, but then turn around and say, well, you know what? That probably is a problem for the defense. Who knows, right? What it really means is that Clemson has something that they can build on, and I'm okay with that. Where I want to hear more is how good are they doing in short yardage? I didn't hear much about that. I didn't hear much about red zone. I want to hear about those specific situational successes. Hey, just having some good passes, that's good. Protecting, that's good. Yeah, for sure. But I want to hear like 3rd and 2, I mean. I didn't hear much about that. I want to hear about 2nd and long. I want to hear about red zone. So I still got a lot left to be desired about the feedback I'm getting from camp. So ultimately, though, one thing that we know is that I think all the hype around 2 quarterbacks and all this stuff is probably going to continue. But you still got me sold on, my money's still on Vizzina as a starter. So that's where I'm at right now with that Chad Morris system. And the line, to me, the offensive line, is going to be a big problem solver for Chad Morris, ultimately. It's going to be able to open up what Chad Morris can do if the offensive line, those 5 guys we mentioned about in segment 1, is going to help Chad Morris confidently call plays that he wants to in his system, but also give some rhythm to the quarterback to be able to play on schedule. And if the offensive line is more than functional, then Vizzina's legs open up as a weapon. Weapon and legs together could be wegs or weapons. But either way, you know what I'm trying to say. Christopher Vizzina being on schedule behind an offensive line that he can trust will also open up the wide receivers as well and the running backs. So what 5 they go with is extremely critical. And honestly, I keep hearing good things about Harris Sewell as well. He's extremely critical. The play calling and the tempo comes through the center, and that identification of key players and communicating down the line, that all comes around Sewell as the answer and as the anchor. So that's why, to me, the best 5 conversation is about who is functioning well together to help everyone else around them perform better. early returns are they're showing some good signs of chemistry. And I like it. That's the hope for Clemson, honestly, is that they can communicate well and they can find a group of guys that fit well and give them the best opportunity to win an extremely difficult game in week 1, which we all agree is. All these positive signs and all the things that are fitting and functioning properly right now are not the real test, though. The real test awaits in Baton Rouge. We'll talk about it in the Everydayer Only segment right here when we come back on Locked On Clemson. There are more live events than ever worth seeing right now. Games, concerts, comedy shows, festivals. And the hard part isn't usually deciding what you want to attend. It's actually getting the tickets to attend those events. Between long wait times, confusing checkout processes, and surprise fees, buying tickets can sometimes feel harder than it should. That's why so many fans are turning to GameTime, the app that's built to make buying tickets simple. With upfront pricing, seat views before you buy, and exclusive savings at the checkout, you can find opportunities that help you get to the events that you want without having all the hassle. Think about the last time that you went to see a Clemson game. There's nothing like it, right? The roar of the fans, the running down the hill, the energy. It's a moment you don't want to miss and that you look forward to every fall. Watching it at home, although I am a homebody, as you know, it's not the same. Being there is a great experience. So with the season coming around, you need to go check it out. Why wouldn't you want to go to a game against Georgia Southern or Miami? Perfect time to lock in some seats now. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets, every type of ticket, not just football. But you can go to GameTime, download the GameTime app, create an account, use code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code LOCKEDON for $20 off. Download the GameTime app today. All right, welcome back into Locked On Clemson, segment 3, the Everydayer Only segment. Thank you so much for those of you sticking with me, the true Everydayers. Now we get to the important part. LSU is the real test still. And like the scrimmage report that we got, it's nice. I like the idea. I like Ronan O'Connell, Colin Sadler. I like hearing that they're doing well. I like hearing that the offense is having success and that the first group did a lot of good things. But none of it matters. None of it matters in scrimmage unless it travels to Baton Rouge. And that's where we got to get real, because LSU is going to test them. Not just the team, but the noise and the pressure that the fan base is going to put on you. The movement that Baker's defense is going to put on you, the physicality. Clemson needs to be settled in and ready to go. And if that right side of the offensive line's not, we'll find out pretty quick against LSU. If the protections aren't clean, then LSU's going to force and stress out the communication. If the tackles are late, then LSU's going to stress out those edges. If the interior isn't strong, then LSU's going to push the pocket. And then ultimately, Christopher Vizzina is going to look like a brand new quarterback and not a seasoned veteran. Second and long is going to be tough to overcome. Third and obvious, well, that's where the game plan gets away from you. So what would I rather have against LSU? Steady pass protection or dominant run game? Honestly, I want a dominant run game. I want Clemson to run the ball. I want them to be physical and create that movement. You know, that will help open up the opportunity for Vizzina not to be overwhelmed. It'll allow him to have a clean pocket and stay on schedule and to be able to play a real football game to the best of his ability. If he's under constant stress in that stadium, it's going to be difficult to win. And if that happens, it'll probably be because the offensive line is a wreck in the running game. It'll be because of lack of communication, that right side instability. and the crowd noise. One guy overthinking, one guy miscommunicating will turn into a nightmare. You'll have free runners everywhere in the backfield, and it'll kill your drives. You want a newbie quarterback, which he's not really a newbie. I think that's probably a wrong thing to say, but at least a new starter, new full-time starter quarterback to play well, then you can't speed up the game for him unless he's ready for it. Obviously, we'd all like to have a couple of weeks to test this team, and to give them opportunities to kind of get tuned up, but you're not going to have that this season. But LSU's not going to have that this season either. And that's where I have a little bit of hope too, because we keep putting a lot of pressure on Clemson needing to settle down, needing to have a group of 5 guys that they love and to build those reps together and not react late and not guess and just rely on each other. Clemson still needs to build that, but keep in mind, LSU's in the same boat. They got a ton of brand new players that they've got to be able to prove themselves as well. That LSU defense has a lot of talent for sure, but they haven't played a ton of snaps together either. The LSU offense has a ton of talent. They also have a lot of brand new guys as well. Clemson's not going to be the only team figuring it out on week 1. Now, I want Clemson to go into it being more than functional, but if they're functional, might be able to give them opportunity versus LSU on a road game. So when do I say Clemson's offensive line is actually taking shape? Well, it's really going to be about 3 weeks from now, I think. I want to hear who the 5 are that they're running out there 3 weeks from now. And ultimately, I really want to hear or see with my own eyes how they do against LSU. But what's going to be a tell that this offensive line is going to make me proud? Well, if those 5 guys were my sons and I had to tell them how they're going to make me proud, I would say just get 2 yards when you're supposed to get 2 yards. When you need to get 2 yards and everybody knows you're going to get 2 yards, get the 2 yards. That's when I'll start believing in this offensive line. That's the challenge for them. When everybody in the stadium knows that that's what you're going to do and you still have success, that's when I think it'll be taking pretty good shape for me. And it'll be better than enough to win for sure. Hey, thanks for tuning in. That's it for today's show. And as always, Tiger fans, we'll see you tomorrow. Don't forget to subscribe wherever you get Locked On. And you can find me on X at the Morgan T Show. We'll send you over to the 24/7 YouTube channel now. And if you can't, and you're on the podcast, I'll ask you to go check out Locked On Braves or Locked On LSU. A lot of other great Locked On shows like Locked On ACC. Again, thanks for listening. This is a Tuesday edition, and I'll see you tomorrow. And I'll see you, Tiger fans, at the top of the hill.